Okay, hey YouTube, you were going to get my origin story, kind of that moment where I knew I had to transition and sort of everything like that, and the whole plan and, kind of strategy that got me to where I am today. But instead of sharing that wonderful story, I'm going to tell you about insurance and how it is still a pain in my ass. While I try to get reimbursed for paying Dr. McGinn's fee up front. And so, this probably helps explain why Dr. McGinn does not work with insurance, because they take a long time to pay out, and then they make it a hassle, probably to try to get your money anyway. So they've had my claim now for more than 9 weeks, 45 business days. And they're supposed to make a decision within 45 days. So, about 30 days or 15 days in, I called to understand the process better and was told that they had 30 days to kind of make a judgment or whatever, and called back around 30 days and said, well, I hadn't heard anything yet, wanted to understand, and at that point was told that it can take up to 45 days, but that I should have heard something by this point, since I had the claim that long, and that they would go ahead and try to expedite it for me to get it through the process and help me kind of get my money back. And they said that I would hear by the end of that week. I didn't hear from anybody. Called back the next week. Same story, they'd get it expedited, I'd hear back at the end of the week. Didn't hear back, so I figured whatever, I'll just give them the full 45 days because this is pretty pointless. And then I called back yesterday and I'm told that, oh, well, it's because in the system you were already in as a female, the surgery is for somebody who should be male, so we have to manually push it through or something like that. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And then today I call back and say, well, you were supposed to call me back by the end of the day, and I haven't heard back from you, and, she's like, oh, I was going to call you, and it's like, well, it's 4:15, and you're supposed to call me by the end of business, and you're giving yourself 45 minutes, like, really? And what would you have told me at that point? Because what she does end up telling me today on the phone is that those claims would be denied because Dr. McGinn was an out-of-network provider. And so I don't know if you remember, but I made some videos back in the fall talking about how insurance was trying to deny my claim, or my predetermination, for all sorts of different reasons. And I'm pretty sure that I have this out-of-network exception that they say I don't. Although I think they might be arguing that I have a pre-certification, I don't have a waiver exception for the surgery, although I did get it for the consultation, because they treat these two things differently, even though they have nobody who is in network for the surgery. So you de facto, if you want to execute it, you have to go see somebody out of network regardless. So, from a business rules perspective, while I can understand why you may or may not make it through the process, the fact is if everybody has to get an out-of-network exception for the surgery because you have nobody in network, then it makes absolutely no sense why you would attempt to deny anybody's claim because they are seeing somebody who is out of network. If you're covered and you have nobody who can provide the procedure in your coverage, then how is that supposed to work? So, insurance is wrong here, because I was pretty explicit when I was on the phone with them after they pushed my, predetermination through, because I said I want to make sure that I do everything I'm supposed to do right now to make sure that none of this shit comes back when I am filing my paperwork and my claim to get reimbursed. And sure enough, it's a good thing that I, had all all of those conversations, and they should have all that on record, because here I am now having to send a nasty gram to my HR to say, what the fuck is going on here? Why is insurance making this impossible for me, that I have to spend any amount of time looking at this instead of focusing on my work?